Hi, I'm Bill Osmolsky with the MacIver Institute, and this is your MacIver News Bulletin. Well, kind of feels like the world shut down, and it doesn't seem like it's going to reopen anytime soon. Schools, churches, courts, meetings, sporting events, you name it, all canceled or closed in response to the spread of the coronavirus. It all happened so fast, it's worth taking a moment to look back and see how we got here. On January 8th, the Chinese government announced it had discovered a new coronavirus after rumors of an outbreak made it impossible to ignore. Less than 2 weeks later, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, announced the first case in the United States on January 21st. On January 30th, the World Health Organization declared a global health emergency. That was immediately followed by President Trump declaring a public health emergency and imposing travel restrictions that went into effect on February 2nd.
Foreign nationals, other than immediate family of U.S. citizens and permanent residents who have traveled in China within the last 14 days, will be denied entry into the United States for this time.
We still have a low risk to the American public, but we want to keep it at a low risk.
Wisconsin had its first case days later on February 5th in Madison.
While we do have a confirmed case here in Wisconsin, we want to stress the risk to you, the general public, is very low.
Absolutely, Governor. The patient who was just diagnosed was exposed to the virus in China. That patient followed protocols to limit exposure to others and is now isolated at home and doing fine.
Then nothing for over a month. There wasn't a second case in Wisconsin until Monday, March 9th. The third case was reported the next day on March 10th. By Wednesday, there were 6 cases in Wisconsin and about 1,200 throughout the country. That day, the World Health Organization declared a global pandemic. President Trump held a primetime address to reassure the nation.
To keep new cases from entering our shores, we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days.
President Trump also announced a deal with the health insurance industry to waive all copays for coronavirus treatment. And he called on Congress to approve $50 billion in relief to small businesses affected by the outbreak.
My administration is coordinating directly with communities with largest outbreaks, and we have issued guidance on school closures, social distancing, and reducing large gatherings.
The next day, on Thursday, Governor Tony Evers canceled an appearance at the Milwaukee Press Club and declared a public health emergency.
Wisconsin, through the leadership and expertise at the Department of Health Services, has been preparing for the potential of a pandemic. Because of their diligence, combined with the experience and hard work of our local and tribal health officers and other partners across the state, the risk to the majority of Wisconsinites remains low.
Throughout the day, businesses and organizations canceled hundreds of events around the state. The University of Wisconsin system canceled in-person classes for the next few weeks. The NCAA basketball tournament was canceled, and the NBA suspended its season, followed by the NHL and other professional sports leagues. That Thursday night, stores across the state were packed with people stocking up on vital supplies, like toilet paper, expecting to be trapped in their homes for weeks or even months. On Friday, President Trump declared a national state of emergency, and Governor Evers ordered all public schools closed no later than Wednesday, March 18th. They won't reopen until April 6th at the earliest. Over the weekend, crowds continued to descend on stores throughout the state. This video is from a Woodman's in Madison on Saturday morning.
They're buying more than they buy at Christmas. Relax. We're doing great. It all will pass.
By Monday, there were 46 active cases in Wisconsin. President Trump asked Americans not to gather in groups of more than 10 and stay home when possible. Officials urged calm, cooperation, and patience. President Trump said, "Don't be surprised if this drags out until late summer."
If everyone makes this change or these critical changes and sacrifices now, we will rally together as one nation and we will defeat the virus, and we're going to have a big celebration all together.
Despite all this, government and most businesses are still running, including the MacIver Institute. This also happens to be Sunshine Week, when journalists point out the importance of open and transparent government. And in times like these, that's more important than ever. Be sure to visit www.MacIverInstitute.com for regular reports and check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. For the MacIver Institute, I'm Bill Osmolsky, and this has been your MacIver News Bulletin.